are going to paint, we are going to turn this fine gentleman here into an Howling Griffon Space Marine. It's a quartered scheme. It was asked by one of our channel viewer. And now I'm going to let you in on two little things before we start. Okay, three little things. First one, we are starting this on purple. It makes everything smooth and everything even. You don't need to do this. I think it's just a smart play, again, in order to simplify everything, because a quartered scheme is kind of hard. If you do a whole army, just use a shaker can. Use the army painter alien green, alien purple. Lay it on there. Okay, we're just doing the one guy, so I airbrushed it purple. But you know, shaker can if you want. That's the first thing. Second thing. Big debate going on the internet about which side is what. About half the pictures online, this corner here is yellow. Other half, this corner here is red. So maybe there's a right way, maybe there's a wrong way. There's at least the same amount of art from the Games Workshop that have the different. And then for every split scheme, right? This one is a quartered. So this corner, this corner, this corner, this corner. This one is a quartered scheme, but every split skis type of thing, the easiest thing to do is to start with the easiest color and then do the harder color to paint second. This is kind of counterintuitive for a lot of people. In this case, it's red and yellow, everyone's favorite two colors. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with red, and then we're going to do the yellow, which you have like Scions of Gilman, I think they're called, like half white, half blue. Start with the blue, because the white is harder to paint. If you have a black and white, you know, start with the black. Black is slightly easier to paint, so on and so forth. Okay, this is the three things that we had to get out of the way. And while I was rambling on, purple is kind of dry, so we get to start. And now we're just gonna go with like super vibrant color for this. Okay, there's no. If you're painting Howling Griffons, your goal should not be to make them like muted or anything. Alright, so we got this cool red. So now, we can try to be methodical about this and just do this quarter and then that quarter. I think it's not a great idea. Instead, we're going to just focus on the entire thing. Or at least way more than half, okay? Don't try to just like go, oh, only half, I don't need all of it. Nothing should be straight purple. If you look at it, you should not go, oh, this is purple. And for some reason, the head is also not reversed, which amuses me. This I think is the funny part, or the part that maybe you do. But the head being the same side. So this was Mephiston red, good old base coat. I'm happy with this, of course. And then we're gonna highlight this with Evil Sun Scarlet. It goes from very dark to very light, because with the shaded purple, and then this like super candy red, and focusing mostly on like the top parts of our miniature. So now we got like a big contrast already. Ooh, I love this. Oh yeah, I'm pretty happy with this, what we got going on. So now, of course, nothing here is straight. It's like here, you see this has like maybe a little bit too much purple. I think it's gonna look great in the grand scheme of things. We're gonna love this slide. We'll see. You know, maybe I mess up, and then you'll know. You'll watch the video and you'll go, yeah, that moment when he left too much purple, fucked it up. That's okay. That's why I record this. That you don't have to do this, you know. All right. Let's clean this entirely, and then we'll give the airbrush a little clean, because we're gonna be here for a minute now. Okay. Boop. Okay. This is mostly clean. We're going to use it in like 2 seconds. I'm not too worried about it. So, alright, so now if we spray, we're going to hit this side of the backpack. Alright, let's go back. I don't know how this is going to play out in the video, but our guy's masked up. I'm going to give you a couple of pointers. So we taped every piece that we want to keep red, right? So this leg This hand, this arm, this side, and then the head here is kind of like wonky a little bit. It's kind of hard to get through correctly. So the key here with this tape is, first of all, you use like very little pieces. And then many little pieces is like way easier, and that's kind of the only thing really. Right now we're using Tamiya tape. I really like it. So let's bring back Mr. Airbrush, and let's bring back Mr. Purple. So now the key here is very counterintuitive, especially if you're using like a very fancy little airbrush like a Sotar that's like super fine detail, is when you're using mask, don't use paint that's too thin, okay? If you use paint that's too thin, you're gonna fuck it up, and I don't want that for myself. You can do pink. Lots of people like pink. I like... Okay, that's good enough. We're going to dump this back in real fast. Now we can't leave any of the purple. We have to be a little bit more thorough with the cleaning before we go with the yellow. So this one here is Iriel Yellow. So now, same thing we did with the red. Okay, we're going to go slow. First of all, I'm making sure my tape did not really move. And now we're going to go slow, and we're going to build it up while leaving some of the purple. So kind of the same thing here. We're not really interested in leaving any of the purple. Nothing should be blatantly purple. And I really like this like super bright yellow. So now last masking trip, we're not gonna touch the yellow anymore. I like this big bold color. We might add a little extra highlight before the shading, but overall I'm pretty happy with this. You know, not a lot of purple showing through even from the bottom, but lots of contrast in there. Like if you look at the face, come on, show me that face. Oh, like we can see all the details in there. So I like that a lot. Is before even cleaning the airbrush, we're gonna remove the tape. And the reason for that is you don't want to let the paint kind of settle on the tape, because as soon as it starts to dry on the tape, then when you're gonna remove the tape, it's gonna break off. So this is another thing that's like a little bit counterintuitive. Ooh, look at that. And then the only slip is here, and that's I did that with my fingers when I tried to put on the when I tried to put on the tape earlier. So that's kind of on me. It's not even the tape that did that. It's me putting it on. So first thing first, we're gonna fix up our little airbrushing boo-boo accident. That's okay. So we'll use the red first, like the darker red, Mephiston, and we're gonna fix our red. So this is probably going to be a little bit too dark, but that's okay. Little mistakes here. There we go. And then it's also at this stage, it's kind of the moment where you have to look at your lines. Like for example, the fabled jockstrap here is not like a, and that's why the easier one. That's why we mask in this order, is because it's much easier to paint the red. And when you do your masking, it's always going to be on the side that you airbrush first. There's going to be the most mistake. Your mask is not going to be perfectly centered, so you're going to need to add like a little bit, or there's going to be like a little crease, and then some of the yellow is going to seep right through it. Same thing on the helmet. You can see here there's like a little bump, like so. And then there was like a big debate on like the belt, and like should it be half Z's or whatnot. So the reason I do this is I want to touch up the yellow before doing extra highlights on the red at this stage. And then we'll do the exact same thing on the red. We'll add, we'll go back with our, what's it called? Evil Sun, and we'll do a couple of extra. Again, I like these highlights where there's like a shaded area right next to it. So in these things, it's like a big purple line. So I want to have the extra edge highlight right next to it. I think it looks even better. And the cool thing about it is that you really don't need much else, because once you've put all that effort, like what people notice is this big bold mini. So every other thing here can be quite simple. You don't really need to overdo anything. You don't need to overcommit or kind of like compensate with like this stands out. Nobody plays this. Nobody has like something great like this, because all the work is in there. So it's I like this. Now we're stuck at like kind of a crossroads here. We could do a red wash on the red, a yellow wash on the yellow. We can do a sepia on everything, which kind of works. It's kind of interesting. We can leave it like that, which is where I'm leaning currently, although I would like to get some more oomph in that yellow. So maybe we just wash the yellow. We'll do Cassandra yellow. And we'll just do one even pass everywhere on the yellow, just to give it a little extra. Because again, the problem with the sepia is that it tones everything down. Because sepia is not a bright yellow; it's a what's sepia. So if we do it, it's interesting, but it tones down the entire thing, and that was kind of the point of doing the Griffin is because you get really to make it your own, right? But again, we're kind of like sticking to the kind of classic look. Classic would be this with the same colored shoulder pads as they are. They're not reversed. Let's actually keep the idea of doing this like very simple. Let's just do the gun fully silver. I want to do maybe a couple of other things, but maybe if we keep it very simple, we can have like a very bold scheme, but let's keep all the other details. I feel like I don't need to say this, but it's obviously much easier if you don't glue a lot of the parts in. However, with the new a lot of the new sculpts, you don't have the option to leave like the shoulder plates and the backpacks and the guns off sometimes when you build them, so they're all like linked up. So I wanted to do one that was like fully built just to show you that it is possible, and it's not. What it is a little bit more challenging, it's not that big of a deal, you know. I would say the gun, but because the ends are more often than not stuck on them, like molded on them. And one thing I like about these like split scheme is that the back here, you can do a little bit less kind of I'll say work on it. Usually you have to kind of break off the color because it's usually one just like big chunk of model. But now because we have the quartered scheme, it's like it doesn't look too forced. I think we're still gonna do this middle part here. Okay. Boop. I would make as many models in this scheme with a white helmet as I could. Every sergeant, every veteran, any excuse that I have to make a white helmet on these guys, I would take it. I wouldn't even question it. I think it's the best one. Oh, we could have done the purity seal when we were doing like nine touch-ups of red. That would have been like something that a professional might have done, you know. And we could very well do this in black as well. It wouldn't matter because we have other black details in the miniature. So it would work very well. I don't know why. This is really unnecessary. And I want to... The silver is going to take 2 coats here, so I'm kind of leaving it to dry while I do... which it sounds like it is. There's not a lot of it. Highlighting the brown here with Scrog Brown. I like it. Sometimes it looks a little bit too powerful, but that's okay. We're gonna when we shade it, it's gonna look all good. I've seen this one before. Don't worry. It works. Boop. Next up, we're gonna do. Yeah, let's do the silver. Let's try to finish off that silver right now. We really just need. It's really on the gun. That's like not like super crystal. Like we can still see. I don't know if I can show you. We can still see some of the red like showing through, and red will do that to you. If you like red shows through almost all of the colors, so you have to be really thorough. Okay, next up we'll do the vents and the joints and whatnot with black. Alright, so now this is the part, this is the make or break part. We have to be very careful. You have to hold your breath, stick your tongue out, sacrifice a chicken if you need, you know, do whatever you need to do, but you beg the gods of steady hands. And it's the same thing. We could do the eagle here in black. I think the official one is, I think, black. So we could do it in black as well. Like there's a lot of little details of. Hooey. So we're gonna highlight the black now, and to do so, we are gonna use a funky color called Stegadon Scale Green. Sorry. And the reason we're using this one is because it's got a lot of blue in it. I know they call it green, and I like that because then that gives us like a kind of our third primary color, and that is remember, like when everything is bold, nothing really is bold. So that's kind of a way to maybe like mitigate the fact that this is like super So we're not gonna paint the griffin symbol because first of all, you should not either. Okay, painting like that little griffin thing is for people that are mad. I would I would get decals. I would buy them or have somebody make them. Like you go to like I think Staples they do that. Like you give them a sheet. You go, can you print this in this size and on decal paper? Or I would get 3D printed little add-ons on there. That would be 100% my play every single time. I would not paint that on anything. Even my characters, well, maybe no, maybe the characters. That's not true. Maybe the characters I would, but so we did a tactical arrow already on the channel, but again I'll show you. So you start with a little plus sign. A little cross, if you will. Next up, make little triangles from the side of our cross to the top here. So as you can see, nothing was like really complicated what we just did. We got a little nice little straight-ish arrow. And then we can highlight this arrow again if you want. We can highlight this here with again with our like blue-green thingy. So we'll just highlight the top of the arrow. It's it's nothing like super over the top in terms of highlight, but it just gives it a little bit of a nice touch and it flows with the curve of the. Okay, so again, same color as our other red part. For logistical reason, we'd probably give the purity seal just a quick. And the reason is that for on this model here, we're kind of lucky because the purity seal is on top of the yellow. But if it was on top of the red, if we do it the exact same, well, it's very lackluster, right? So we don't really want that. Just use the dark brown here that we had earlier for the purity seal. It's gonna look very dark, but we're gonna lighten it up and with like some bone color mixed in there. We probably could have just went straight with just a bone color to go like fast. Just quick highlights, nothing too crazy. Okay, you can do the highlights as like little lines like on the side, and that will not really, but it gives the overall feel of it. Like you won't see letters and whatnot by doing this, but. And then the only thing that we need here it would be the eyes. So what we can do is just keep using our bone color and mix it in with our sea blue. And I like this color because if you have like plasma and power weapons, you can all do that color and it's gonna look fine. It also clashes with both sides, which is the problem if you do. I think the real ones is red. Now this particular model, I'm not gonna redo the joint, like the cables and the black, because I didn't go way overboard with the highlighting, and I like the way that they look now. And then lo and behold, I mean, we have like a Howling Griffon now. Look, it looks wonky, but look at that base. That base is like not doing us any favors. Little bit of glue here. We don't need to, this guy's not gonna go to war. Oh yeah, and now you guys know on this channel we are all about the black rim job. And the black on the side it just centers the whole thing. And then let's just put it on the and then look at this. This is I'm very happy with how it turned out. We didn't sweat too much putting on the masking. We got like all clean lines. And we got a vibrant red, vibrant yellow. Pretty stoked with this with the Space Marine here. And didn't take us a lot of time. So that's good.